was sweet with the reading.
The transfiguration. I meant to say transfiguration.
And the reading. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good story. The event is called the Transfiguration, or the Transformation, whatever you want to call it. Jesus takes Peter and James and John up the mountain, and Jesus, at some point up there, seemed to glow. Seemed to just be radiant. And then, for some reason, Moses and Elijah were there too. And they'd been dead a long time. Then Peter offered hospitality or did something because he didn't know what else to do. Can you relate to that? You know, I mean, we love our little monuments. We love to, drive down the road and know that someone who was in a car accident at a certain spot, we put a cross there so we remember that that's where they lost their lives. When a loved one dies, we always put a marker in the cemetery. We love our little monuments. So this is what Peter's thinking. This is what we should do. We should build a monument. I mean, Elijah was here and Moses was here. We should build something. We should do something. So anyway, then God's voice comes out of this bright, shining cloud and says, "This is my child, my beloved, with whom I'm well pleased. Listen to him." And then Peter and James and John were scared, and they dropped to the ground, and Jesus told them to get up and not be afraid. And then Moses, Elijah, and the shiny glad cloud were gone. Poof. And then Jesus told them to keep quiet. He told them to keep quiet. Don't say a thing about this vision until I've been raised from the dead. Wait, what? Raised from the dead? Can you imagine Peter and James and John, whatever they went through up there? It was an extraordinary experience. Picture glowing faces, shining clothing, and we're not talking about a Tide detergent ad. Dead guys talking, cloud voices. It was something they would remember for the rest of their lives. Kind of like Mardi Gras. People who've been to New Orleans for Mardi Gras say, "I'm never going to forget that for the rest of my life." And then Jesus tells them, "Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone." Yeah, he did that. But there were other times. There were other times when Jesus told people to be quiet too. But they didn't. 3 different times, and the Bible says, he sternly ordered the disciples not to tell anyone, unquote. And then another time he told a man cured of leprosy, "Say that you say nothing to anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and be made whole." We can also read about Jesus opening the ears of a deaf man and fixing his speech impediment, and Jesus ordered them to tell no one. But you know what happened? Thank God. The more he ordered them to keep quiet, the more they talked about it. Jesus told a lot of folks to keep quiet. They didn't keep quiet. Maybe that was his plan all along. Peter, James, and John didn't keep quiet. How do we know that? Because we know the story. Somebody told it, right? Somebody told what happened on that mountain. Because we all know what happened. And they had to have told someone, but that's really not the point I want to make today. Jesus told them something else. He told them, "Don't be afraid." Yeah, he said that. And there are so many other times where Jesus told folks not to be afraid. On a fishing trip, a storm comes up, and Jesus walks out to the boat, and the disciples thought it was a ghost, and Jesus says, "Hey, relax, it's me. Don't be afraid." And don't forget the time when people left Jesus' tomb and ran into him on the road, and they kind of freaked out, and Jesus said, "Hey, it's okay, don't be afraid." But think about it for a minute. How often have the words, "don't be afraid" or "don't be scared," sunk in right away? I remember my brother taking me for the first time on the big Ferris wheel at the Fireman's Carnival. And I was so excited. And the closer we got, the more excited I got. And then he leaned down and he said, "Don't be scared." Oh, crap. I wasn't until that minute. Just because someone says not to doesn't mean you won't. When you're scared for whatever the reason. I'm sure Peter, James, and John were still really terrified. But that's still not the point I want to make today. You're all sitting there going, "Would you get to it?" Back in the day, I can say that now because I've been out of seminary 25 years. Back in the day, in seminary, they used to teach us to preach a 3-point sermon and then quit. And I thought, what? 3 points? And I'd go and listen to preachers preach, and they'd preach on and on. They were doing 10-point sermons or 8 points or whatever. Anyway, this is my 3rd point. We're almost there. Jesus told them, did you say yay? Jesus told them something else, even something more. And it's related to the part where he told them to keep quiet about the experience. Jesus said, keep quiet about the vision. He called it a vision. Here would be a really good place to play the Twilight Zone theme. Imagine Rod Serling's voice saying, "And keep quiet about the vision." And I'm looking around right now and realizing there's a bunch of people in this room who have no clue of what the Twilight Zone is. He said that their experience was a vision. What do you do with that? How do you unpack that? Wait a minute, Carl, are you saying the experience wasn't real? Are you saying it didn't happen? Are you attacking the Bible? No. I'm just saying that in the text for today, Jesus called what happened on that mountaintop a vision. So what's the point of all this? And is this the point I'm finally trying to make today? Second question first. Yes. And here it is. The Bible is full of visions. It's full of wonder. It's full of mystery. It's filled with people who spent their entire lives not getting it. It's filled with people who asked questions, people who doubted, people who believed, people who stopped believing, people who struggled to understand and still kept trying. What happened on that mountain with Peter, James, and John and Jesus? Well, the Bible says it was a vision. And I think it's very important to ask the question, do I have to know exactly what happened? Do I have to believe everything that supposedly happened? It's more important if we ask the question, how did this extraordinary experience affect the lives of the disciples? And how does their experience affect us today? How does it affect me? Caleb's still giving me advice from out there. You hear? The disciples came down from the mountain, forever changed, because they experienced something extraordinary. You ever wonder what it would be like if we could see past outer experiences, outer appearances? Thank you, Lucas. And witness the bright inner beauty of each person we encounter, each child of God. What would happen if each follower of Jesus saw in everyone, including those despised and rejected by the world, a beloved child of God, shining, radiant? What effect would that have on the world today? The text talks about Jesus being transformed. But I think the far-reaching effect of this particular text is to tell God's children today that God is always in the process of transforming us for whatever we have been into whatever we are supposed to become. Now, I don't know how God is affecting your life today, but I want to offer just the smallest piece of advice about how to react to it. See, Peter didn't understand what was going on, but he reacted in the way that seemed most natural. He offered hospitality to the guests that he thought he saw. His first instinct was to show kindness and love. So may that be the first instinct we have too, as God continues to transform us. May that be the first instinct we have too, whether we're in extraordinary circumstances or in a familiar situation. Because that's what God's wonder and mystery, that's what it's all about. May all your visions be amazing